Have you ever been about to hire a contractor and thought, man, I really wish I could just take a quick peek at their legal history first? Or maybe you're diving deep into your family tree and looking for an ancestor's will. Or perhaps you just want to track a local court case you heard about. Well, did you know that Union County court records are now available online completely for free? It's true. This access unlocks an incredible amount of value for legal research, genealogy, and just plain personal knowledge. So in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly how to tap into these powerful public resources. We'll turn you from a total beginner into a really confident researcher in just a matter of minutes. Let's get into it.
To keep things simple, here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we're going to cover why these court records matter. Then we'll walk through the eCourts portal itself, share some absolutely essential search tips, break down the fees and waivers, touch on the legal boundaries you need to respect, and wrap it all up with a quick conclusion.
All right, part one. Let's talk about why these court records matter and how this massive shift is unlocking public data. So, thanks to a massive, and I mean $100 million massive North Carolina eCourts modernization project, you no longer have to spend your afternoon digging through physical paper files at the local courthouse. Under the leadership of the Clerk of Superior Court, this vast array of records is managed and archived digitally. Think of it like a giant digital library. Let's say you're thinking about investing in a local business, but you want to do your due diligence first, right? By pulling up civil records, you can instantly see if that business has a history of lawsuits or small claims. Or maybe you're playing amateur genealogist on the weekends. Probate records are an absolute goldmine for discovering historical wills and how your ancestors distributed their estates. Everything from felony criminal records to family court divorce filings, all this public data is now literally right at your fingertips.
Moving right along to part two. Getting into the eCourts portal itself. Basically, your new digital gateway.
Your starting line for all of this is the official North Carolina eCourts portal. It's built on Tyler Technologies' Enterprise Justice Platform, which is just a fancy way of saying it's a centralized, cloud-hosted database. It completely replaces the fragmented, paper-heavy systems of the past. The best part? It's open to the public, it doesn't cost a dime to browse, and you can run the whole shebang directly through your everyday web browser.
Okay, so let's break down the actual search protocol into 4 easy steps. Honestly, if you follow these, even a total beginner can navigate the portal without breaking a sweat. First up, you'll want to use Google Chrome or Microsoft Edge. Using those modern browsers just prevents the site from glitching out on you. Second, and please do not skip this, you have to use the portal's advanced filtering options to select Union County. If you forget to isolate your query, you are going to be swimming in statewide traffic and it's super overwhelming. Third, you execute your search using a very specific formatting, which we're going to cover in just a second. And fourth, you locate your case, click the PDF icon, and boom, you can view or download the actual documents.
When you're in there, your primary tool is going to be the Smart Search function. This is what you use to pull up the detailed case summary, which the system calls the Register of Actions. Think of the Register of Actions as the master table of contents for any lawsuit or criminal proceeding. It gives you a chronological timeline of the whole case. It tells you exactly who the attorneys are, what physical events actually happened inside the courtroom, and how the judge ultimately ruled. It even shows any outstanding financial liabilities. Which brings us to part 3, some pro tips for efficient searching, or what we should really call mastering the syntax.
Okay, pay really close attention to this one because this is where literally 90% of people hit a brick wall. This system requires strict query protocols. Because it's an automated database, simple text string entries just won't cut it if they don't match the indexing standards perfectly. You absolutely must use a comma-delimited format. That means last name, comma, first name. If you omit the comma or mess up the spacing, the system just gets totally confused and throws an error. So if you just type John Doe into the search bar, it's going to fail. You have to type Doe, comma, space, John. It's a tiny detail, but it's an absolute game changer, so definitely bookmark this rule in your mind. Now, what if you already have a specific case number? Well, when you're searching by a case number, you have to include the standardized hyphenated suffix. For Union County files, that usually looks like the -890 suffix. Understanding how this is structured is super helpful. For example, in a number like 24CR005124-890, the 24 tells us the year it was filed. CR means it's a criminal case. The sequence number is 5124, and that crucial -890 at the end, that specifically designates Union County. Without that exact suffix, your search is going to come up empty.
And speaking of location, here is a super common pitfall: cross-jurisdictional errors. You have to ensure your search is isolated to North Carolina to prevent completely false outcomes. Fun fact, did you know there is a Union County in Ohio, Georgia, and Tennessee? Yeah, Because multiple states have their own active online search portals for their respective union counties, if you don't filter properly, you might find yourself deep into a court case from 3 states away, wondering why on earth your neighbor was apparently arrested in Ohio. So always verify your target location.
Now you might be wondering, how far back do these records actually go? This timeline is absolutely crucial. October 14, 2024 was the massive go-live date where older paper records transitioned into downloadable PDFs. So if you're researching a case from, say, 2015, you're likely going to be able to see the summary of the case online, but the actual scanned PDFs of the complaints and orders probably won't be there. For full digitized PDF access, the case generally needs to be active or filed after that October 2024 transition. If you need full files for older cases prior to the 2000s, well, you're going to have to take a trip down to the physical courthouse.
All right, part 4. We need to talk about fees and waivers, because while searching is free, getting official physical copies is a different story. While poking around the portal online is completely free, sometimes a digital view just isn't enough. If you need a certified document for, I don't know, a background check, a passport application, or maybe an official legal dispute, you'll need the real deal printed by the clerk's office. Under North Carolina law, specifically NCGS Section 7A-308, there are statutory fees for duplicating and certifying these documents. If you go to the courthouse to get a physical printout, the very first page is a flat $2, and every page after that is 25 cents. Need it certified under the official court seal? That's going to be a $3 flat fee on top of the copy costs. And if you need a clerk to run an official certified criminal background check on a specific name in Union County, that runs about $25.
But actually, scratch that. Don't worry if those fees sound like a barrier. To ensure fair access to justice, litigants facing financial hardship can submit specific forms to have these copy costs completely waived. The state provides exemptions so that a lack of funds never obstructs someone's access to the courts. If you qualify for indigent status, filing forms like the AOC-G106 can entirely waive filing fees, sheriff's service fees, and necessary copy costs. Plus, court-appointed defense attorneys pull these records without personal expense, which ensures everyone gets robust legal representation regardless of their bank account.
Let's pivot to Part 5, the legal and ethical boundaries of poking around in all this public data.
Look, just because data is online doesn't mean it's a complete free-for-all. There are very strict boundaries designed to protect vulnerable individuals and ensure fairness across the board. Keep in mind, not everything is public. State and federal privacy laws heavily protect sensitive items. We're talking juvenile court cases, custody and adoption files, and sealed criminal records. You are definitely not going to find unredacted social security numbers or private financial account details just floating around the eCourts portal. If a judge has explicitly ordered a case to be sealed, or if an individual successfully expunged their past criminal record, that data is locked down tight and completely removed from public view.
And here is a massive, absolutely crucial takeaway. Ethically and legally, these docket searches are provided strictly for your personal awareness and general legal research. You cannot, and I mean cannot, use this free portal tool to screen a potential employee, evaluate a tenant for an apartment, or assess credit. Doing any of that can put you in direct violation of federal laws like the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The portal is designed as an educational and transparency tool for the public, not as a backdoor commercial consumer reporting agency.
Finally, we are at Part 6, our conclusion and some really important legal disclaimers. If you're doing your research and you hit a roadblock, especially with those cases prior to October 2024, you don't have to figure it out all alone. You can directly contact the divisions within the Union County Judicial Center for manual lookup assistance. Sometimes, the internet just doesn't have the answer, especially for those older, archived paper files. The staff at the main information desk or specialized divisions like Family Court are incredibly helpful resources for navigating the physical archives. Just give them a quick call or visit the Judicial Center in person.
Now, I gotta remind you, this explainer is strictly for educational purposes. You should always verify these details directly with official court channels or a qualified attorney. Court rules, statutory fees, and even the software portal interfaces can, and definitely do, change over time. If you are dealing with a real active legal dispute, hiring a lawyer is absolutely always going to be your best investment.
So, with all these tools and techniques at your disposal, what fascinating discoveries are waiting for you in the digital archives? Whether you're piecing together a massive family tree, researching a local property dispute, or just educating yourself on how the judicial process actually works in your backyard, you are now totally equipped to navigate Union County's online court records like a pro. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and happy searching.